Hey everyone, it's Aaron, and in this video I'm going to teach you, this is part 4, some advanced notability tricks of like how to, for example, take a picture of a textbook, upload it to Notability, and then write on it. It's a really handy tool. I like to use it in class a lot, and it's all the more topical because now, we can't use whiteboards anymore. We got to use the virtual tools we got. So the first thing you do is you share your screen, and I talked about this in the last video. You share with your iPad, and then you turn on screen mirroring on your iPad. Right, and so you tap that, you tap on the Zoom meeting, and voila, I'm sharing my screen with you. So here's my screen, right? So right now, you can see I have a picture taken of an SAT prep. This is just like the College Board's SAT book. And one of my students sent this to me because he wanted to work on it with me over Skype. So here we have, right, some problems, but I can't write on them, right? Because if I take my Apple Pencil and I move stuff around, all it does is drag the page because it's in Photos right now. But if we move it to Notability, we'll be able to write on it, which is pretty cool if you're using it as a teaching tool. So the first thing you do, and you can kind of see it in the top, of course there's no way I can like point it out to you guys, but in the top right here, there's like an edit, a trash, a heart, and then a little rectangle with an arrow coming up out of it. You tap on that rectangle with an arrow coming up out of it. I'm trying to zoom in on it, like right there. You tap on that. Okay, and then once you tap on that, a new window will pop up that looks like this. Okay, so it'll say like one photo selected. You can select multiple if you want to, right? You can upload, like for example, 10 pictures into Notability at once if you want to. But right now we're just doing that one photo. And then you want to send it to Notability. So you tap on Notability. Okay, so this is the window, and you tap on Notability. Then when you tap on Notability, this window will come up, right? Of like add to note or create new note, add to another note. So if you don't already have a note open that you want to add it to, you just hit create new note. And then you'll be able to like change the note title or the subject. That's not really important. So again, you hit, create new note or add to note, and then you just hit import. Import is in the top right here. You hit import, and then that should be done. So just going over that process again, let me just do that. So I go hit this button, then I hit Notability, then you can't see what I'm doing, but that's just, I'm going through the process again. And then, create new note, for example, and then import. Okay, it says one file sent to Notability. So now if I go to Notability, I should have it here as imported file. Okay, imported file. And so now we can write on it, right? So here it is in Notability, and you can write on it. So for example, if they needed help with number 3, okay, number 3, it's addition of complex numbers. So, okay, that one's a pretty easy one, right? So you just do 2 plus 3i is the first thing you have to add. And then you got to add 4.4 plus 8i. And we know you have to add them because they said what is the sum. So sum means addition. So we do that plus 4 plus 8i, and then you just combine like terms. So the 2 and the 4 are like terms, the 3 and the 8i are like terms. So 2 plus 4 is 6. 3i plus 8i is 11i. Is that one of our answers? Yes, it is. So that would be our answer. So you see, this is a really handy tool, and definitely something that I think every teacher should have in their playbook. And if you need any help with this, feel free to write me. I can give you some more examples. But yeah, basically Notability is awesome because let's just say some students are like, wait, I didn't get that. So like, how come you were able to combine the eyes and all that stuff? You could be like, okay, well, let's just backtrack. Let me do this again. So you see I was able to, for example, I was able to use the selection tool, select everything, and then delete it so I could start again. And this is a really handy tip that I use with students a lot, is that if they don't get something, you should just clear it and try again, because that way they sort of started with a clean slate. Otherwise they might be confused as to like what you're doing now relates to what before, because they didn't really understand what was before. So I'll just break it down piece by piece. Okay, so step 1, you have to figure out what you're trying to do. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find the sum, right? It says what is the sum? So sum is about addition, right? So you're going to get something plus something. And what are the 2 things they want you to add? They want you to add this complex number and that complex number. And so complex numbers, they have imaginary numbers as part of them. So there's like a real component and an imaginary component. Anyways, we just need to add them. So we take each of the things they gave us, 2 plus 3i, and we took 4 plus 8i, and we have to add those together, so you just put a plus between them. And then you know about combining like terms. Anyways, you get the idea, right? This is a cool tool you can use. All right, and then going back to that here, right? So another thing is like if you need to erase something, you can just swipe through it, right? And it erases. So if you just want to be like, oh, I didn't like how I wrote that 3, you just tap on the 3, and then you can write like a better 3. That was a little better. Other things you can do, you can highlight, so you can be like, okay, so everyone remember that the eyes, oops, that's way too big. But you know, you can change the size, so let's change the size to be like that. So the eyes are imaginary numbers. Right, so whenever you hear complex, it means that there are some i's, which is imaginary numbers, and it's the square root of -1. So highlighting is another useful tool. You can just write on it. So like, for example, if you wanted to write something, why is it not letting me? All right, so if you want to write something, you could be like, okay, complex numbers are, you know, 1 or more, basically just 1 real number and 1 imaginary number. And the only one we really talk about in algebra and on the SAT is I as an imaginary number. No, not lowercase I, lowercase I. There we go. So this is just another example of what you can do, and that could be like your list of definitions. So like if you're teaching physics, right, you can write all your formulas off to the side here, that sort of thing, and then you can zoom back in on the problem if you want to work on the problem, and someone will be like, wait, could you explain that again, or what are complex numbers? You'd be like, okay, if you haven't copied it down, you know, here it is over here. So anyways, something like that. So anyways, I hope that was helpful for you, and again, if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email, ask me, and I'd be happy to answer.